How to choose a website host for your blog. Like domain names, web hosting plans can be bought cheaply. But by focusing entirely on price, you will only be creating problems for yourself down the line. Shared hosting is one of the biggest cons in this industry, at least for the most part. Shared hosting is the most basic hosting plan you can purchase. It is cheap, but it is far from cheerful. Shared hosting is brilliant for the providers as it allows them to crowd a single server and receive subscription charges for each user they load onto it. They can also charge very little, using that price point to attract new customers. But regardless of the spec, regardless of how much bandwidth or space they offer you, be very cautious of this option. Shared hosting, as its name suggests, means that you will be sharing a server with many other users and countless other websites. Web hosts rarely make a point of telling you how many bandwidth-hugging users they will cram onto a single server, and even when those servers are relatively sparse, your website will still struggle during peak times. If you have ever set up your own website and wondered why it seems to crawl at a snail's pace, this is why. Even when your blog has just launched, even when there is very little content and very few users, this is still a bad idea. If your site is slow, users will ignore it. If your site times out, Google will ignore it. If your site times out, Google will ignore it. Fortunately, you don't need to splash the cash on a dedicated server to get a website that runs smoothly. In fact, even if a dedicated server is within your budget, it's not something you need right now. A shared hosting plan might fall short of your needs, but a dedicated server would be overkill. VPS servers are somewhere in between shared hosting and dedicated servers. They are very quick and they are all yours, but they are also fantastic value for money. There are two kinds of VPS server, and understanding which is very important. The self-managed servers need to be managed by you. If anything goes wrong, you'll be expected to fix it. In many cases, sending an email to customer support will return a message along the lines of, "As this is a self-managed server, we are unable to help you," although the better web hosts will point you in the right direction. These VPS servers are cheaper and they are perfectly acceptable if you have a little technical know-how or will be hiring a developer to oversee things. If not, you need to look for a VPS server that is managed by the web host, one that comes with its own dedicated support team. Factoring in cost, features, customer support and everything else that a good web host needs, these are the two providers we recommend, along with the plans that stand out the most,